The Senate will convene in 30 seconds. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wykowski, Wolk.
We are absent a quorum. Can sergeants please call members so that we can promptly begin our session today? Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Latta, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
Members, we are still absent a quorum. If you can make your way to the Senate floor so that we can begin our Senate session. Sergeants, please call members. Make sure they come to the Senate floor immediately. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen, Anderson, Bates, Bell, Berryhill, Block, Canella, De Leon, Fuller, Gaines, Galgiani, Hall, Hancock, Hernandez, Hertzberg, Hill, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Lada, Leno, Leyva, Liu, McGuire, Mendoza, Mitchell, Monning, Morlock, Morrell, Wynn, Nilsson, Pan, Pavley, Roth, Runner, Stone, Vidak, Wachowski, Wolk.
Thank you. Members, a quorum is present. Would the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this morning by our guest chaplain, Elaine Whitefeather, Executive Director for A Community for Peace, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by our Senator from California's country music capital, Senator Gene Fuller.
Creator, one who is known by many names, maker of all things upon the earth and of the heavens. Mitakuye Oyasin, we are all related. Great Spirit, whose voice we hear in the wind, whose breath gives us life and life to every living thing, we offer our gratitude for our lives today, for the sacred breath we breathe with you, and for the reminder that we were intended when we were created, and each of us is intended now. Creator, we thank you for preparing us for such a time as this, for the honor and privilege of leading the great people of this great state, for the service you have called us to, and for the opportunity to use the gifts and medicine you have given us to accomplish our mission today. And so we pray that you will guide us this day to hear what we need to hear, feel what we need to feel, listen when we need to listen, that we may truly hear not just what is comfortable for us to hear, but in all the ways the suffering and the struggles of our state's people are spoken. May we see in every issue that is before us today the human being whose life is touched by that issue. Then may we know deeply that she is, that he is, whom you have called us to serve, to affirm and to validate their trust and faith in our ability to serve the greatest good of all the peoples of California. May we see you in every being, in our brothers and sisters who serve by our sides, and those who assist us to accomplish our mission, in those who lead us and in those who follow us, and in every child of the Mother Earth. May we know that our service to our humankind is the way we can be an instrument of peace, and in the loving kindness, the courage to stand for others, in the compassion filling and spilling into our hearts of those we do not know. Let us be brave of heart, faithful of spirit, and may we understand, accept, and embrace that in that moment we are being called, and may we joyfully answer that call. Washtewelo, in the name of all that is good and sacred, Aho, and we all say, Amen and amen.
Members, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge
Members, we'll be moving to privileges of the floor. We'll begin with Senator Gaines.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to acknowledge my nephew, Marshall Andrews of Carmichael, who last week, Second Lieutenant Andrews graduated from the Marine Corps Officers Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. The Marine Corps Officer Candidate School enrolls only the finest members of the Marine Corps and yields the world's finest officers. It is difficult, one of the most difficult enlisted programs in the military. And I ask the Senate to join me in acknowledging and commending Marshall for his accomplishment and service to the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's welcome Senator Gaines' nephew, and thank you for your service. Members, still under privileges of the floor. Next, we will move to messages from the governor. Messages from the governor will be deemed read. Messages from the assembly will be deemed read. Reports of committee will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Motions and resolutions. Under motions and resolutions, without objection, the Senate journals for March 23rd through March 26, 2015 will be approved as corrected by the minute clerk. Members, we will now move to consideration of the daily file. Second reading file. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 138.
Thank you. We will now move to Senate third reading, members. Senate third reading will begin with file item 9. Senator Nguyen, are you prepared to take up this item? Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 29 by Senator Nguyen relative to Black April Memorial Month.
Senator Nguyen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, thank you for allowing me and giving me the honor today to present a resolution commemorating an event that changed the course of history and millions of lives, including mine and my family. On April 30th, 1975, the city of Saigon fell to the communist forces. This dark day is now known as Black April. For 40 years, Vietnamese Americans communities throughout California and across our nation, and Vietnamese communities across the world, gather every April 30th to honor and reflect on the tragedy that fell upon Vietnam on that day. Black April changed the course of my life. My earliest memories are of living in a refugee camp after my family escaped on a 10-meter wooden boat across the South Asia Sea. My uncle, an officer, was executed on the day of the fall of Saigon, and we fled for fear of being placed in re-education camp for my family and because of my father and my uncle's service to the South Vietnamese Army. My parents knew that our future in Vietnam was grim and that they made the difficult decision to risk our lives in search of freedom. After arriving in Thailand and being denied refugee, we broke our boat and swam ashore because our only other option was to return to Vietnam and leave our faith to the communist government. After passing through numerous refugee camps, we were sponsored to come to the United States, California, in 1981, and we found opportunities in America that we would never find in Vietnam. Hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese Americans living in California today share similar stories like mine. Black April has changed their lives forever. 2015 marks the 40-year anniversary of April 30th, 1975, and with this comes an ideal opportunity to remember and reflect on the impact of Black April. That is why I'm proud to bring forward SCR 29 designating April 2015 as Black April Memorial Month. I believe this designation will provide Californians an opportunity to reflect on the tragedy of Black April and to honor those who lost their lives defending freedom and democracy during the Vietnam War, where 58,000 American soldiers and millions of South Vietnamese armed forces and civilians lost their lives. This resolution invites Californians to be mindful of the current situation in Vietnam and urges the government of Vietnam to improve the lives of its citizens. I believe we have a responsibility to remind our children and future generations of the important lessons of the Vietnam War and of the continuing situation in Vietnam in order for us to prevent history from repeating itself and to encourage progress in Vietnam. Colleagues, in this effort, I humbly ask for your support, and I vote to commemorate the month of April 2015 as Black April Memorial Month, a special time for Californians to remember the lives lost during the Vietnam era and to hope for a more humane and just life for the people in Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, debate or discussion on this item. Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Senator Laura. I rise to explain why I cannot support this resolution. And I'm sorry because I know it's a very personal one to the member bringing it forward, but it is personal to me as well. It does not reflect my personal views or the views of my constituency. I come from a part of California where 50,000 people marched peacefully in the streets of San Francisco year after year to end the war, which they believed was a terrible mistake. I represent a large and thriving Vietnamese community. Many of them are personal friends of my family and I. They came over as boat people, very much like Ms. Nguyen's family. They worked very hard. They did well in this country. They now are reconciled with the government of Vietnam. They celebrate with the Vietnamese Consul General on Vietnamese holidays. They travel back and forth and do business in Vietnam and in the United States. I've had the privilege of going with them to Vietnam and meeting their associates. They would like the United States to do more to help the people that were damaged by Agent Orange and other things, but they want to move on. And I believe that it is worth having a day of reflection about the lessons of history so we are never forced to repeat them. But this resolution is not in the spirit of what my constituents, I think, would want me to vote for.
Thank you. Senator Bell.
I rise to support the resolution from my respected senator from Orange County. This resolution is for Black April. That occurred in, I'd like to point out, after the American soldiers left Vietnam. Historically, this was a period of time that a lot of death, tragedy, and civilian deaths occurred in Vietnam at the end of the war. There are families in our community in California that lost loved ones during this period of time. So in my opinion, this is not about the American involvement in Vietnam. This is about Vietnam and what happened at the end of the war after the Americans left, for the most part, in Vietnam. I'd like to also point out that there are many people in California that still suffer traumatic experiences from this period of time. We should do everything we can to support them in their recovery from the traumatic war experiences. I think that honoring them and correcting history, because a lot of the problems with this Black April is that history has been written by the victors in an inappropriate way. So we need to correct history, and we need to honor and help the people suffering from the traumatic experience at this time. I urge resolution to be supported.
Thank you. Senator Fuller.
I rise to thank the senator for bringing this resolution forward and those who are joining with her in. Black April is a shame for all of us. Regardless how you feel about why it is shameful, it is. It's sad for all of us. It's something that memorializes something that too many people died, too many people were hurt, and this world suffers from a lot of forces that bring us to a point where that happens from time to time. And the only way we can memorialize standing against this, whether it's an Asian country, a Middle Eastern country, where it is to get up and talk like we are today about the lessons that we learned from everyone's perspective. I know that my perspective is sorrow for my cousins who died on Vietnamese soil, sorrow for the ones that they died for, sorrow that we had to send everyone to help a country try to earn individual freedom, and sorrow that after all of the price we paid, we didn't succeed in individual freedom as we know it today. So for me, I thank our senator. I thank all of you who gave your perspective, because certainly I know that we have advocacy areas that don't see it quite in the same way, but articulating how they see it is important. But even more important, it is joining voices to say that Black April is something we don't want to happen again, and that we want to honor those who went because they hoped they could make a difference, and that in the end, maybe they did.
Thank you, Senator Fuller. Any additional debate or discussion on this item? Senator Nguyen, would you like to close?
Thank you, Mr. President. For my colleague, this is not at all in saying that this was a right or wrong war. It happened. It's history. And all I ask today is to remember those who, whether they were asked or not to go, whether they had to fight from the United States to Vietnam or in Vietnam themselves, and the million civilians have died because of the war, whether starvation or being bombed because they were standing next to a bomb. This is just in remembrance of those and the history of this, and that we don't repeat it. So it's not in any way of saying whether this is, everybody has their own opinion about different wars. My brother fought in Iraq right after September 11th. I'll tell you, when I was working for a state office, I had another colleague there who told me to my face that they should jail my brother. Shame on him for going to Iraq. And I said, he has been asked to go. He's a United States Marine, and he's proud of doing it. And so whether you have an opinion whether that was a just war or not a just war, we as American citizens, like myself, and my brother who fought proudly and came back, this is trying to make sure that we don't repeat history. And all we're doing is remembering those who stood there, whether on American soil or in a foreign country. But they did it for one reason, because America stands for democracy and freedom. Everybody in this war wants to come here because of that. And so I ask today for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Bates. Aye. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Block. Aye. Canella. De Leon. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Galgiani. Aye. Hall. Hancock. No. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Hill. Aye. Hueso. Huff. Jackson. Lada. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leyva. Aye. Liu. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Morlock. Aye. Morrell. Wynn. Aye. Nilsson. Aye. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Roth. Aye. Runner. Aye. Stone. Aye. Vidak. Aye. Wachowski. Wolk. Wolkeye,
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Canella, De Leon, Hall, Hertzberg, Hueso, Huff, Jackson, Liu, Monning, Morrell, Wachowski.
Ayes 27, noes 1. The resolution is adopted. Members, we're going to move, still in Senate third reading, to file item number 7. Senator Mendoza, you prepared to take up this item?
Yes.
Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 15 by Senator Mendoza relative to Pakistani American Day.
Senator Mendoza.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm here to present SR 15 that observes March 23rd, 2015 as Pakistani American Day and marks the commemoration of the signing of the Lahore Resolution and the adoption of the first Pakistani constitution known in Pakistan as Pakistan Resolution Day. This resolution acknowledges this important historical event and recognizes the contribution of Pakistani Americans throughout our state and our country. Pakistani Americans are an integral part of California culture and society. In California, Pakistani Americans have made great contributions in the field of finance, technology, law, medicine, education, sports, media, the arts, the military, government, and many more. It is important to provide awareness and appreciation of the contributions, historical and ongoing, of many Pakistani Americans to the rich ethnic and cultural diversity and to the economic prosperity of California. Mr. President, members, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion on this item? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen. I. Anderson. I. Bates. I. Bell. I. Berryhill. I. Block. I. Canella. De Leon. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Galgiani. I. Hall. I. Hancock. Hernandez. I. Hertzberg. Hill. I. Hueso. Huff. Jackson. Lada. I. Leno. Leyva. I. Liu. I. McGuire. I. Mendoza.
Aye.
I. Mitchell. I. Monning. I. Morlock. I. Morrell. Wynn. I. Nilsson. I. Pan. I. Pavley. I. Roth. I. Runner. I. Stone. I. Vidak. I. Wachowski. Wolk. Wolkeye.
Please call the absent members.
Canella. De Leon. Hancock. I. Hertzberg. Hueso. I. Huff. Jackson. Leno. I. Morrell. Wachowski.
Members, 32's ayes, no 0. The resolution is adopted. Senator Mendoza, for what purpose you rise?
Under privileges of the floor.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we are flying the Pakistani flag up in the podium this morning in this very historical moment in honor of our distinguished guest at the back of the chambers. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Hamid Ashgar Khan, Consul General of Pakistan in Los Angeles. The Consul General graduated from the, thank you. The Consul General graduated from the Institute of Business Administration at Lahore in 1991, specializing in marketing and management. He has attended schools in the United Kingdom, France, and Pakistan. Mr. Khan has served in multiple posts in many countries, including Spain, the United Arab Emirates, Germany, United Kingdom, Pakistan, and Australia. Mr. Khan is very passionate about his work. Above all, he feels very strongly about the rule of law, good governance, public service, freedom of expression, and environmental conservation. California and Pakistan share strong economic and trade relations. 10% of all trades between the United States and Pakistan come here from California, trading in the goods and services such as agricultural products, furniture, gems, jewelry, information technology, and many more. Consul General Hamid Khan is accompanied this morning to the Capitol by his Deputy Consul General, Mr. Malik Kamar Abbas. And also, we have a few extra guests and dignitaries from throughout our state. We have Mr. Ali Sajjad Taj, first Pakistani elected council member this side of the Mississippi here in California. We have Iqbal Bashir, Mr. Adnan Khan, Mr. Khalid Usman, Mrs. Ramona Usman, Mr. Farouk Gias, Sam Awan, Waqar Ali Khan, Arif Zafar Mansouri, Kanif Khalid, Kamran Malik, and Shakil Ahmed. I would also like to recognize the many guests that are here in the gallery, joining us from throughout our state in this very historic moment. As you know, this is the first time that we've actually celebrated Pakistani Day in this state legislature, so it's very historic, not only for us, but for them.
Welcome to Senator Mendoza's guests, and welcome to our Pakistani Americans who are visiting us. Welcome to your California State Senate.
In honor of our guests with us here today, and in recognition of the contributions of the Pakistani American community throughout our state and our country, I'd like to present Mr. Consul General this resolution commemorating Pakistani American Day. And to conclude, please welcome again our distinguished guest here in the chambers.
Senator Galgiani, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I am pleased to have the opportunity today to acknowledge a group of student ambassadors and teachers from Osaka, Japan, and the Elk Grove Unified School District who are seated in the gallery. These remarkable young individuals are participating in the 2015 California-Japan Scholars Program, which was established by statute in 1996 and is partially sponsored and administered by the California International Relations Foundation. Over the years, more than 800 students have participated in this exchange program, making many lifelong friendships while gaining an appreciation for different cultures and traditions and learning about the importance of interdependent economies, positive cross-cultural communication, and international collaboration. This year, we have 23 students from Osaka, Japan, who are staying with host families in the Elk Grove area and attending classes with their host siblings at local high schools. In addition to their program at the Capitol today, they will be visiting San Francisco and participating in various other cross-cultural activities designed to enhance communication, understanding, cooperation, and goodwill between our two regions. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to these young ambassadors and their teachers.
Welcome to Senator Galgiani's guest, and welcome to the California State Senate.